Welcome to another week of Faithfully Free, Truthfully Me.
Welcome back to another episode of Faithfully Free, Truthfully Me. I am your host, Hannah Hazer, and today I am so excited for this episode because I have one of my friends, Tyler, on the podcast, and I'll let him introduce himself as well.
Cool.
So, Tyler, who are you?
Hey, good to see you. It's been a minute. The last time we hung out, we were drinking all day.
I don't even remember when that was.
Yeah, when was that? I don't know. That was a couple months ago. It was hot.
It was a while ago.
It was like summer.
Was it when we went
hot.
to Von Elrod's with Danny?
Danny Valete.
Because I think we were about to leave and walk home, and then,
and then it turned a whole night. That was fun. But yeah, well, congrats on the podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a faith-based podcast, and I'm not really sure what we're going to talk about today, but I figured we could just let it be freestyle.
Cool.
But I do have two questions that I ask everybody before we get the podcast started. The first one is, what does faithfully free, truthfully me mean to you?
Faithfully free, truthfully me.
Yes.
You can just being yourself, When it comes to faith, I grew up super religious. Like, I used to go to church like 3-4 times a week, very Catholic. I was actually being, not a lot of people know this because I don't share a lot. I was like being prepped up to be like, go be a priest. And then I started liking girls and I was like, hell no, that's not happening. But yeah, I mean, I used to go to seminary during the summer. It was wild. We were, kind of very traditional old family. But now I just kind of have my own faith, I still believe in God and Jesus and stuff, but
yeah.
I'm just not very much in your face about it. And I kind of feel, what's that quote? There's literally a Bible verse where it's like, be the person behind closed doors, not the one in the streets. It's like, hey, praise God. Because honestly, I think that's you're kind of looking for attention when you're like that. So
yeah, exactly.
So yeah. Did you grow up super religious?
I did grow up Catholic, and I grew up going to church and like CCD and all that fun stuff. Yeah, all that stuff. Like back in like middle school, high school, whatever.
Did you go to Catholic high school?
I went a few. I think like up until first grade, I went to Catholic high school, and then Catholic school. I cannot talk apparently. Sorry, y'all. And up until first grade, I went to Catholic school, and then I transferred to public school because it just wasn't for me.
Sure.
But I still like kept up with my faith, and my grandma was super religious, and she sang in church and everything, and it kind of inspired me to also be a singer-songwriter as well, and that's what brought me to Nashville.
Yeah, because you're from
Nebraska.
That's
Omaha,
right.
Nebraska.
Yep. Mm.
But yeah. And then this layoffs happened at my previous job, so I'm like, I'm just going to start this podcast and see where it takes me.
Cool. I think podcasts are cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think once you kind of start doing more, you're going to like really start really enjoying it.
For sure.
Yeah.
But my next question for you is, if we talk about like rejection or whatever we talk about today, what do you hope people take away from this episode?
Well, like on the topic of like rejection
or whatever we talk about.
Well, there's a good quote I like to kind of always think about, and it makes a lot of sense. If you knew that you had to get, let's just say 10, you had to get 10 or 9 no's to get the first yes, then you'd be really excited to get the first no, especially in this town, everyone's trying to be a songwriter or an artist or something. But this is a creative outlet too, man. Podcast, I think it's kind of like it leans into creativity. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, rejection's not a bad thing. I mean, and that's at any level. I mean, you hear people that are even like at a higher level where they're still like, oh my gosh, like, can I still write a song? Or, or people want to come to my show, so, or am I even going to get booked on a show? So, I think rejection's all part of it. And also too, it's more about, you got to like remind yourself, it's not about just getting the end goal. It's about also enjoying it, like what you did to it, like the journey, so.
Awesome.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
What about you? Are you still making music?
I have like songs in my phone, and I like kind of play guitar every now and then, but I kind of like stepped away from it, and I don't really play live anymore, but
Sure.
I definitely want to get back into it this year. maybe I can record music here someday.
Yeah, yeah. Taylor's got a great studio.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It looks really good. He
Doesn't
did a
look
good
like we're in
job.
Nashville. Yeah.
No, it looks like a private little secluded
Yeah, it's cool.
studio.
But where was your last show?
Where was that? It was in Franklin. Kokomo Trading or something.
Like with tiki drinks and stuff?
Yeah, but the thing that sucks for me is I got to play right after a full band, so everybody cared about the full band and
Sure.
not me. And they were all like talking to the band, and I was just like, okay.
Playing solo's tough, man.
It really is.
You know? It's only really fun if it's like a songwriter night where people are like listening. You know, if you're playing at a bar, no one cares. You know,
Yeah.
I used to do that for a living. I used to play, 5-7 times a week. Sometimes on Saturdays, like 3 times a day. I would do like a solo and then like a duo, and then we do like a trio at night. This is in Charleston, which you just went to, didn't you?
I did back in October, I believe.
It's-
right before the layoff happened.
I got pretty, not like I wouldn't say numb to it, but you just got used to it. Like no one cares, and really I was just doing it to make money, you know. But yeah, no one really cares at a bar. They just want to drink and
Yeah.
scream and be loud. So, but I mean, have you played? Gosh, what's the songwriter one? It's downtown. What's the listening room? Have you ever done that?
No.
No?
I don't even know how to get into that.
You just got to email them. You know, are you doing that at all, or are you kind of stepping away from that too?
I honestly did step away from a lot, but my number one goal is to get back into it. I just need to network more, and
It's a full-time job.
it really is,
Yeah.
especially applying to all these jobs. It's
Yeah.
challenging.
Where are you working now?
This.
No, yeah. Did you? Oh, you said you got laid off.
Yeah,
or-
I did.
That sucks.
Back in October.
Man, you've been chilling for a second. Dang. Well,
Yeah.
well, you know, I think in this day and age, it's nice to do different things, you know. We
Yeah.
kind of got told growing up, like, you got to work at the paper mill for 40 years, you know. It's nice to do a different job all the time. So,
Yeah, for sure. All right, what's the biggest piece of advice you've ever been told?
Biggest piece of advice. Trying to think of my guitar teacher. His name was Tom McGoy. He was pretty cool. He passed away. He was really cool. He got me ready for because I was a jazz guitar major in college. He used to have the craziest. Like you always thought he was really intelligent when he was giving you like a quote, you know.
Yeah.
But a lot of times they were pretty corny. I don't know, but I mean, I think the biggest thing I've learned through like all kind of mentors is just like, you know, it's always not going to be easy, you know. Other than the podcast and the music stuff, like what kind of job are you trying to get into? I mean, talking about like refreshing.
I definitely want to do something in the creative industry, whether
Sure.
like that's with music.
How old are you? How old are you?
I'm 26. I just turned 26 on Christmas.
Yeah, dude, like you could easily like go get and I don't mean this in a bad way. It's how everyone starts. You can go get a job in the mailroom at like CAA or William Morris.
mailroom.
Well, that's how they start everybody. And then if you stick around, then you move up to assistant. No matter what age you are, they it's kind of like it's not an internship. You're getting paid, but it kind of feels like one.
Yeah.
But my buddy Tom, you know Tom Mackel? He's a songwriter buddy of mine.
I do not know him.
Anyway, at the age of like 26 or 7, he did that at APA, and then he moved to assistant. Eventually, he quit, went back to full-time music. But you know, I'm just saying that at least you get to meet people, you know, and then you get to go to those fun parties and you get to network because it's part of the job.
That's
so,
true, yeah. That would be something to look into.
are you BMI or ASCAP? Do you know what I'm talking about? Like
Do I what?
Are you BMI or ASCAP? Do you know what I'm talking about? Like your royalty organization, your pro. Okay, well, I'm BMI. That's also my publishing and my my writers, right? They're always hiring BMI or ASCAP. They have like a call center, but it's, you know, you get to meet everybody. So just putting it out there. I applied for that when I was 25, and I definitely didn't get the job, but because I was playing full time music, they wouldn't hire me for it.
Gotcha.
But that's a job.
What kind of jobs do they have?
Well, so it's your. It's like your
starting from the bottom.
for sure, but it's like your royalty. That's what it is. It's royalties. So they do a lot of things. They connect songwriters. They you know, it's like during CMA, there's always a BMI party or an ASCAP party. There's also CSAC. Have you heard of that? Have you driven down Music Row lately? Like, do you know what I'm talking about?
I have not driven that way in a hot minute.
So like, you know, like all the houses and stuff. So it's at the very end where the circle is.
Yeah.
CSAC, you have to be invited, but you get paid monthly. Both BMI and ASCAP, you get paid quarterly. But I don't know, I just dig BMI more. But BMI actually used to be owned by a liquor brand. What was it? Seagram's Gin, which is wild. They've recently sold
I
it,
did
but
not know that.
yeah, wasn't that weird? But yeah, you should look into that too. I mean, if you don't, I mean, you got like what, one song out, 2 songs,
One.
one. I mean, you got to sign up for. You just go online, sign up for it. That's how you get paid your royalties. So
Okay. No, now that I think about it, I think I did put that song on BMI.
gotcha, cool. Do you know the difference between, just since we're on the subject and we live in Nashville?
Yeah,
Do you know the difference between publishing and just your writer share?
I do. Yes.
It's weird. So if you don't set up your you could set up publishing account for $100. You just do it through the website. If you don't do that, you're literally leaving money on the table. The day that I did it, like 4 years ago, I got a check for like $2,000 because they like retro went back. If you don't do your publishing, you just don't get paid it. So if you ever do a big songwrite with somebody, or like a label deal or whatever, and they're asking for the publishing, it's because they're trying to take your money. You never want to give your publishing up. So it's weird.
Okay.
Your writer's share is worth way less for some weird reason. So anyway, I could talk music business shit all day. So
No,
didn't
it's
mean,
good.
Didn't mean to cuss on your faith
No,
podcast.
you're good. It's okay. It'll make it more entertaining.
Cool.
I guess since going back to the rejection topic, if you're walking through like a season of rejection, what steps do you take to get through it?
I mean, I think every time. Well, I've had a lot of it for sure over the years, and so I feel like I'm definitely better at it. But I think it just always sucks more when you really like wanted it, or you really cared about whatever that was, you know, and not just like a relationship, like if like, you know, oh man, I really want to open up for this band or something. And so what I try to do now, and with my bourbon company too, because like we're having a really hard time now, actually, rejection, and it's been bugging me. Actually, we can't get the beer, a distributor in my hometown in Charleston. No one will pick it up for some weird reason, even though we used to have one, and they went out of business. But it sucks. 'Cause I'm like, dude, does someone hate on me? Like, is there? Because Charleston, you just went. It's a small town, and so everyone kind of knows everybody, and so I'm always kind of like, man, like, you know, does someone talk shit about us? Like, you know, whatever. And it's always tough, especially when you care more about it. But I try to set myself up, like not like I'm already gonna fail, but I already feel like, all right, you know, I'm not gonna get it. So if I don't get it, I'm not that upset. But if I do get it, then I'm even more excited because I thought I wasn't gonna get it. So. Yeah, you know, but you got to stay busy too. You can't just like sit in your room and be
Not
sad
do
about
anything.
it. Yeah. Staying busy, and the best. It sounds, you know, corny to say, but when you get time in between, it's always easier. So, what about you?
I guess since I'm walking through the season right now, I guess I'm trying to grow in my faith. I'm joining a church just to
Which
get
church?
community. I started going to Way Church and the Belonging. I'm like going back and forth
Are
between
those like non-denominational?
They're Christian churches.
But I mean, like
So,
just like
yes.
okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah.
Cool. Where's that? Where are those?
The Belonging they're both pretty close to Germantown. Well, the Way Church is in East Nashville. It's not too far. And then the Belonging, it's like right, you go down Rosa Parks and then
Metro Center.
Oh, okay.
Metro Center, whatever.
Okay, cool.
It's somewhere.
I when I first moved back here a year ago, there was a Catholic church downtown. And I was trying to go to it, and I got really turned off because the bishop was there, and he asked what I did, and I was like, "Oh, I own companies." He goes, "Oh man, you can give a lot of donations." I was like, "Ew," and so I didn't join it. Makes you think, you know, growing up super Catholic, I thought it was like, obviously I still believe in some parts of it. Actually,
Yeah.
it's really funny. This lady told me not too long ago that what would she say about Catholics? She was like, Catholics are weird. They like to choose certain parts of it and not do all of it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, donating or what do we do? Confession. You know what I mean? It's I don't know. It's just an old church, man. You know. But anyway, I was gonna go back to church there, but I don't know. Maybe I'll check out non-denominational. I'd like to go back.
Yeah.
Is it on Sundays?
It is. It's on Sundays, and then the Belonging has a service on Tuesday nights at 7:30. I just like going to those type of churches because I love the music and the worship music.
Sure.
Not a lot of people do, but I don't know. I feel like it has a big effect on me because I grew up playing music and writing music, but yeah,
Sure.
it just feels good.
So it's like very music based. Cool.
Yeah, very worshipy,
Nice.
and the messages are really good by the pastors.
Is it like a youthful church, or is it older people?
I
Or-
would say so, yeah. There's a lot of, it's like a mix. There's definitely more younger people though.
Cool.
But
Nice.
Yeah.
Killer.
Yeah. Do you want to share anything about like music and like for like a young like singer-songwriter moving to Nashville or Austin? How do you stay like motivated to like keep writing and keep creating when there's a lot of competition in this town and
Yeah.
all that?
You know the statistic of how many songs drop a day? It's 120,000. Isn't that nuts? I mean, that's
Damn,
worldwide.
that's crazy.
So you got to think of that way too. But, if you never start, you never start,
True.
So also, I've just been doing it since I was like 16, and I just turned 35, which is crazy. So
You're getting old.
Getting old, dude. 5 more years to 40, which is crazy. At least I got a
4
baby
more
face,
years
though.
to 30.
Yeah. Hey, 30s are fun. You get more comfortable in your skin.
Yeah, true.
When I was your age, I had a lot of doubt for sure. So, I don't know. You just, it's a lot different now. When I was 25, 26, it seemed like there was less music, and now there's just so much of it. So, this is how I feel old. I saw an Instagram reel the other day of someone, I don't know what it was, but they're talking about bands in South Carolina, since where I'm from, and it's like a real hipster type podcast. And they go, check out these bands, and they showed a clip, and I was like, who the hell is that? Like, because I used to know all the bands. Now I feel like I don't know anymore. But I don't know. I mean, for me, okay, let me ask you this: Do you think a lot of times artists are just doing it because it's cool, not because they want to be an artist, or they have to be one?
I think some people, not to like call anyone out, but like I think some people really want to do it to like be famous and like have that fame and like meet the like famous people like that they're crushing
lifestyle.
on. Yeah, have that lifestyle and have all that money because you can never seem to have enough of it these days.
Sure, 100%.
I think some people do it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, well, you can always kind of tell. Living in Los Angeles, I always call them LA artists, where it's like they're
Let's
verified.
take a moment of silence for Los Angeles right now.
Hey, actually, the house I used to live in Altadena burned to the ground. It's crazy, super sad.
I saw that. It's depressing.
Yeah, man, it makes you think life can just change, and there's still fires going on. So
Yeah.
But just a joke I always make is like LA artists, like they're verified, 100,000 followers. Actually, that's here a lot too, though. I call like the pop country ones. It's like, who's this person? And and you can tell it's fake. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they just want to look cool as shit, and they're definitely,
I
there's a
do
cool
too
weird,
some
and there's a,
days.
what'd you say?
I mean, I do too some days. Everyone does.
Yeah, it's true. But I'm just saying it's obvious when you can tell. It's like you can tell when it's like a real artist and like, oh wow, they're so
for
good.
Sure.
You
and
know,
like when they're writing from the heart and not like.
And they definitely kind of have like a mystique to them. You know what I mean? Like a good example, one guy that I absolutely love, and he's from here, like Rustin Kelly. Have you ever listened to him?
I don't think I've ever heard of
He's
him.
He's Casey Musgrave's ex-husband, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. The guy's just like a weirdo, and he's, he calls it emo dirt, where it's like, it's Americana, but it's kind of Blink-182-ish. So anyway, but I'm just saying you could just tell what the stuff he's writing. He's actual songwriter. So
Dang, that's
yeah.
cool.
What about you? What's your favorite artist right now?
My favorite artist right now, probably, I like a lot of the up and coming artists. I like Ella Langley, Ashley Cook, Alana Springsteen. Those are probably my top 3.
Cool.
I love
I don't
Morgan
know who
Wallen's
those
music.
people are.
They're newer artists. They're up and coming. They're
Cool.
really good though. You should check them out
Sweet.
sometime.
They're like songwriters, or they're artists, solo artists?
They're both. Yeah, they're solo.
Isn't it kind of funny? Because we're mentioning names. Even I did too. Rustin Kelly. There's not like a lot of bands anymore. It's all artists.
No, everyone's like doing it solo, and a lot of people are going back to like independent and not really, or they're leaving their record labels. I've noticed.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess if you might find it interesting. So like the Universal, all the big guys, they're buying all the distributors now. So they just bought Fuga, and I'm under Fuga. That's mine. And so it's kind of blows your mind because now it's kind of like the comparison I have to make it to. Remember like the craft beer boom, and everyone was drinking craft beer, and then when that happened, all the big guys bought them. And so like Universal just came in because 50% of music that is consumed is independent now. It used to be 25, now it's 50.
Okay.
And so it's kind of crazy, right? So all the big guys are like, well, look at all this money that we're not collecting. And so they just bought Fuga. Well, they bought Downtown Publishing. Not to sound like a nerd, I'm like rambling. But they bought Downtown Publishing for like $800 million or something, which is crazy. That's like $1 billion. And they just scooped it up. So, and then what people are afraid to see is like let's say you had a song and it blew up and you're under Fuga, and Universal, now they have the data, they can look and go, all right, who's this girl Hannah? She's taken off. That's great. So then they might offer you a record deal, right? And this is what people are speculating, is they might offer you a record deal and you're like, you know what, no, I want to keep being independent. Well, they control your distributor and they control the algorithm, and then people are afraid it's like, well, you didn't take that deal, and they might screw you. So
Yeah.
it kind of is a little freaky to hear that independent music's now kind of controlled by the big guys, So anyway, that's just me rambling. But I saw some guy talking about the other day, and I was like, oh, it's nuts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Who's your distributor? Do you use TuneCore?
I use
DistroKid?
DistroKid, yeah.
Gotcha, okay.
I've used it for years.
Nice.
I haven't used it in a while, but yeah.
Cool.
I definitely like DistroKid. It's easy to use.
Yeah, their language is really good. They delete everybody, though.
Do they?
Yep. They have like tons of pending lawsuits.
Oh, I didn't know
Because
that.
if they see a spike, just because it's like my business, Artist Formula,
Yeah.
we won't usually work with people on DistroKid, because if you start promoting them, they see a spike, they don't really have the manpower to investigate it if it's real or not. So they put you in a pool of what they think might be fake, and then what they do is they offer you a $10 fee. They say it goes to Spotify. It does not go to Spotify. It goes to DistroKid, and the $10 fee is, well, we won't delete you, but you're not going to get paid. And because if it is fake, then Spotify gives them a huge fee. And so they just delete everyone's music. They don't pay people. If you just Google DistroKid not paying, it's like lawsuit after lawsuit. It's crazy.
Dang.
Yeah, I mean, when you work with like thousands of artists, it's bound to happen. You know what I mean? So, but the language is cool. You go to the website, it's real friendly. I've
That's
never
what
used it.
I liked about it a lot. I just like what it gives you, like what it offers you.
It's like $30 a year.
It's very inexpensive.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sorry to bore you with that.
No, you're good. I guess moving on.
I like that stuff.
No, it's good. It's good to talk about. But I guess maybe if someone's planning a trip down to Nashville, what do you recommend? Like they check out like the Ryman, the Opry, anything.
Go do something different. I mean, obviously go to Broadway at least once, I can't wait to leave downtown. I'm so over it.
It can be a lot for sure.
For sure. Bars
of
on
drunk
close to
people.
3. But go check out the Gulch. The Gulch has become its own new thing. I used to work at this place, 12th and Porter, actually like 10 years ago, and now it's like a high rise. It's just crazy how much this town has changed. But I mean, I like Midtown, but I think probably my favorite is East Nashville. But I like Germantown a lot too.
Yeah.
Mother's Ruin's fun. It's just there's a lot of good food here too. So
I love the bar Lakeside at East Nashville. Have you
so
been?
that used to be called. Do you know what it was called? It was called Edgefield back in the day.
Did you know that?
See, I'm dating my time here, but it looks exactly the same. So there's a new bar I want to check out. It's under
Yeah.
the basement, East,
Okay.
and they own it too.
That's cool.
I forget what the heck they call it, but I like Attaboy.
Never
been
been
there?
to Attaboy, no.
Do you know what I'm talking about? It's behind Lakeside.
I need to get out in East Nashville more. That's
It's
my
cool.
goal.
It's like a speakeasy. They make you wait on purpose, but
They make you wait on purpose.
and then you walk in and there's no menu.
Oh.
So it's now it's like I've been a million times, but you'd be like, oh, I'm feeling something boozy with rye or something, or I want something that's light, and they just come and give you something. So
Oh, that's cool.
it's pretty
How
cool.
long have you lived in Nashville?
It's been a year and like 3 months since I moved back, but I lived here when I was 25. So I actually had a really big country deal, and I didn't take it. So
Why not?
Because
should've.
I'm not going to say who it is. One of the biggest guys, and I've said this story a million times, and he actually came at me when he found out I was telling people about it, because he probably thought I was going to cancel him. He's just a real creepy dude, and he manages one of the biggest country guys ever. And so I
Yeah.
was having all the meetings. This also dates my time. It was all like music girls, all houses. Now it's becoming all high rises, and so now there's I'm not going to say where, but we used to go there. And have all these meetings, and it was funny because they're like, "Hey, so I remember the last meeting we had. It was like all these huge managers, and they're like, "Who's your favorite country artist?" And I was like, "Cause I don't really like pop country at all." And I was like, "Will Hogue," and he's more Americana, not really. And you're like, and I could tell they were looking around like, "Why are we talking to this kid?" You know what I mean? Because I didn't want it. Because they call it it's a great documentary. I know I'm rambling, but with the Foo Fighters, it's called Sonic Highways, and they go to every big town and they interview people. So they do the Nashville one. They interviewed Carrie Underwood. Dan Arbach, Black Keys, and they're like, it's called the Music Row deal, where they get Hannah, the best looking girl they can find. They get a publishing deal, you don't write the record, and then you get a record deal because they can go to radio, because it's all about what in country, like I got #1, right? And then you become like a product, and so that was the deal I was getting. And And what's funny is actually when I was working here, funny enough, 12th and Porter, I was like a bar back, and then I screwed up and told the bartenders how much I made one night, and they cut my position, and then I was a server, which sucked. And so they came in, the band that the band that took my spot, they had a showcase there with them, so it sucked. I had to serve all of them, and I was like, oh, so I'm like giving them onion rings. I'm like, good to see you guys, and they gave me like a tip, like, best of luck, Tyler. But the band that got signed, because I think the Music Row deal can be like the kiss of death, because if you get picked up by that band got signed by Universal, but they sounded just like everybody else. That there wasn't. I don't even remember their name.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at is if you attempt to go to number one, and it doesn't go to number one, you kind of ruin your name. So that's when I was living here. I was 25, and then I turned that down, and I was pretty like depressed for sure, because all my buddies were like, how the hell would you turn that down? I was like, I don't know, man. I don't think I want to sing about beer and dirt. But after that, shortly after Chris Stapleton got big and it became more authentic again, but at the time Florida Georgia Line was the biggest thing, so everyone sounded like the big power chords, and so but I lived 2015 2017, moved back to Charleston, started my bourbon company, me and my dad on just like credit cards, and then 2019 I moved to LA, and then next COVID hit, so and I was in Hollywood during COVID. It was crazy. Where were you? Were you in
I
Nebraska?
was still in Nebraska. I think
Yeah.
I was still in school.
Was it shut down, Nebraska? Does Nebraska exist? Who goes to
Does
Nebraska?
Nebraska exist? Wow.
I'm just kidding.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching.
It's like you just fly over. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean,
It is a flyover state.
but was it like was stuff happening, or were you guys shut down?
Everywhere was shut down. I was still in school though, so everything like transferred over to Zoom. Yeah.
Gotcha. So
Still
that
in
was your college experience?
Yep. It
What year
sucks.
was that? Senior?
I think I was ending my junior year, going into my senior year, which I had to graduate late because my senior year we had to do our capstone classes because I was doing broadcasting at the time, and you can't really do broadcasting over Zoom.
Sure.
So that's why I was like a year behind, or not a year behind, but a semester behind.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, right after that, I got to move to Nashville because I started this writing job with Outsider, and I was writing articles for them, and then they laid me off.
Oh, man.
But it was with a bunch of people, so that kind of hurt. I have not had the best luck with jobs lately, so if anyone needs advice or anything, I am your girl. I will help you get through it.
How you finding jobs? LinkedIn or?
I use LinkedIn. I use Indeed.
Sure.
I think I rely heavily on Indeed.
Yeah, I think everyone uses Indeed, right?
I think LinkedIn kind of has a lot of fake jobs. I don't think a lot of them are real.
Sure.
I think people just post
There's a
them.
lot of scams on LinkedIn.
There really is. That's why I kind of rely on Indeed more. But
Yeah, I would feel like Indeed's definitely like, actual people trying to offer stuff. LinkedIn, I get all these weird messages and
Yeah.
click this link, and I'm like, I'm not clicking that. We live in a weird time, dude. I get robot calls like probably 10 times a day
Robot
now.
calls.
And I think if you pick up and then you don't hear anybody, they're testing to see if your phone is like a live one, and all of a sudden you start getting more of them. So
Yeah.
if you apply for a loan, immediately you start getting calls from like a million people, like weirdos, like, hey man, let me get you some money today. You're like,
get
oh
you some
man,
money.
79% APR. You're like, oh my god, I'm gonna be in debt forever. But then when did you move to Nashville? Was it like a year ago,
moved-
2 years ago?
It was 3 years ago. It'll be 3 years on February 16th.
Wow, time flies. That's pretty cool.
So I moved on February 16th of 2022. Yeah, 2022. Yeah. And then, but yeah, I've just been grinding ever since.
Cool.
Just trying to stay alive.
Yeah, you were working at a country club, or it was like
And not a country club.
what was it? It was like
My last job,
before that. You were working.
a senior living home.
That's what it was. Country club. That's a country club.
Yeah, no. For them, for the elders.
How was that?
I was like their resident programs assistant. So
Were they nice? Were they sweet people?
Some were sweet, some were mean.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how mean older people could be, but a lot of them were really sweet. My favorite activity was bingo. No, it wasn't.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, I just got to like plan activities with them and kind of help with social media and take them to like lunches or dinners, and it was a
Sweet.
cute job. It did not pay the best, but it was
Sure, it was a
worth
job.
it. Got me experience, and I was still able to do music and just kind of figure out where I wanted to go next.
Sure.
And, yeah,
Sure. Cool.
Now I'm just figuring out where I want to go now.
Well, hey, at least you started a podcast.
Yeah,
you know?
true. We'll see where it goes. Hopefully get some more viewers and
Sure.
start posting more on social media. Which, do you have any suggestions for what to post on social media to kind of get people's attention?
Use that Opus Clips thing that we were talking about.
Opus Clips.
Everybody uses it.
Perfect.
It just, you ever see like comedians and it's like, you see like all of a sudden when they're talking emoji pops up, like it's AI, it'll just do it for you. And, you can tell it to do 10-second clips, 30-second clips. I think the shorter ones are the best. I don't know how it does it, but it'll like make it like, it'll find a funny thing. We had our friend Paris Vizzoni. That was a fun one. With Francisca Ludiker, if I'm saying it right. And it was like 4 of us, and we were just like talking about nothing. It popped it in, and like the funniest stuff popped up. So, but yeah, I mean, just post all the time. It is a full-time job. I didn't post today.
Yeah.
Maybe because I'm a little hungover because we had a big bourbon night last night, which was a blast. Dude, we had a chef's dinner at Villa. Have you ever been to it? Villa Castorita?
I've never heard of that.
It's a chain.
Sounds fancy.
It was. It's a nice Italian restaurant downtown. And
is it on Broadway?
It's like near Second.
Okay.
What's that? What's the Beaver or something where it's like the
Beaver Saloon.
yeah
The Wild
with like
Beaver Saloon.
with like the bowl. You know what I'm talking about? It's right in front of it.
They got cheap drinks.
They do. Dude, that's a funny bar. But
The bowl is fun.
the bull is fun. Oh gosh, I don't know what I was saying, but yeah, dude, just post all the time. Just post. Like on YouTube, the YouTube Shorts is the way I look at it. YouTube Shorts is just like TikTok and just like Instagram, and so they're all competing. And so I think not a lot of people. Everybody wants to be big on TikTok, and so YouTube Shorts, man, you just post all the time. Like I posted one with a song of mine in it as a joke, and it got like 3 million hits.
Okay.
And all of a sudden it translated to Apple Music, and now that song gets like 1,000 spins a month. I was like, it's kind of weird, It's like you can have really good music.
I need your luck.
Yeah. I mean, it's all luck, yeah. But it's kind of funny. Like you can have really good music, but if something doesn't go viral, you're never gonna be a hit. I mean, look at Hawk Tuah Girl. You know what I mean? People get up there to do karaoke and they think they're like, like performing.
Like good.
You're like, dude, chill out.
I should not say that, but
I think she's going to jail.
is she actually?
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
She had
I've heard.
like a Bitcoin thing. My agent too. He was actually kind of behind all that. And I was like, why the heck did you, because he got rid of her. He didn't want to do anymore. And he had a good point. He said his wife was like, I don't want our kids asking, what's a Hawk Tuah? And so he's like, all right, I'm gonna get rid of you. So
I cannot believe she got famous from saying a word on Broadway.
yeah, and it was here in town.
And what is
Isn't
our
that weird?
generation?
Yeah. And then, but here's the thing: the people invested in her Bitcoin. My opinion, you're the idiot. Why would you invest in a Hawk Tuah coin? You know what I mean? You deserve to get your shit stolen. So anyway, but I'm just saying, when it comes to music, it is kind of funny. You can have really good music, but if it doesn't go viral, it's kind of like, it's kind of like rejection. People think they're like worthless. Like, oh man, I posted it and I got 3 views. It's weird. We live in a weird time.
We really do. Are you for TikTok or are you against it?
I hate TikTok.
You hate it? Why?
Maybe because I'm 35. I just never got into it. I saw a good interview with Gary Clark Jr. I'm like a big blues guitar guy.
Is that your genre?
I would assume like Black Keys, Americana you can call it too, but because Americana is pretty broad. But Gary Clark Jr. was on Joe Rogan and they were joking about TikTok, and he's like, "Yeah, man, it's crazy. Like I was in a music meeting and they're like, when are you gonna start making some TikToks?" And he's like, "You're not gonna see me dancing." I think it's for some people. But I guess my generation, my Facebook always goes crazy, and it's because it's older, and blues music is older people, and it's like retired people in Florida, So I think you just got to find your niche, But I'm not a TikTok guy. I was actually really hoping it was going to get deleted. So,
Wow,
but
you're
of course,
one of those people.
I'm not a boomer. But yeah, then what? Do you like TikTok?
For like work, like professional life, yes.
Sure.
For personal, no, because I spend too much time on it and I should not be.
Sure.
It like takes away all my free time, and so I'm like mixed. But yeah, I think it's really good for like professional life, like for work, for music, for anyone starting a podcast, just to kind of reach those people that you want to like motivate and encourage.
My girlfriend will send me TikToks, and I only downloaded TikTok just so she could send me TikToks.
I'm dead.
I don't know. It's just not my thing. Also, too, but it's just like Instagram Reels. I will sit there, and all of a sudden, I'm like in traffic, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, it's a bad habit. So
For sure.
but it's also, I'll put it this way: if we didn't have it, then it's like, how could we be artists these days? It's like it's a catch-22 or whatever, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it's changed the music industry so much, and
Sure.
you don't have to work as hard, I feel like, to like get your music out. I don't know.
Well, I mean, yes and no. It's a lot of work until it starts working for you, and then once it is, it's like, whoa, you know what I mean? I mean, let's try and brainstorm here. What's like a last artist you saw like pop off on like online? Not Hawk Tuah, but you know what I mean? Like it's like when a band just takes off, you're like, holy shit, this is nuts to watch.
Yeah.
I always look at comedians like that.
Have you ever seen those like teacher, like day in the life of the
I hate
teachers?
those videos. Come watch me do, you know.
Come watch me be a teacher for a day. Or
I hate the
whatever.
ones where it's like, come watch me be an A&R, and all it is just like it's a kid with an internship, you know. It's like, dude, shut up, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. I think there's, you know, it's catch-22. There's some really good stuff with it, and there's some stuff where I'm like, that's when I put down the phone and I'm like, okay, let me do something else, you know. But I will say, like, it's huge for my bourbon company.
Yeah.
There's a niche for everything. It's so like the bourbon account, we just post bourbon funny stuff all day, and all of a sudden it like goes viral, and we get online sales. You know what I mean? So it is good.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just good to put it down and remember there's a real life. You know. We got to book another one soon. It's me and my buddy. Oh, I connected to Ryan Sanchez maybe once to record. I don't know if you ever did it, but
Yes,
I connected
you did. I don't think I ever did, but
gotcha.
yeah.
He's the co-host for ours, so
Okay,
he's a
that's
funny
cool.
dude.
Do you want to share a little bit about your podcast and why you started it and
Sure.
how you got it to where it is today?
Yeah. So thanks for asking. It's called Industry AF. It's a joke, like
It's
as
a
fuck, but also company's called Artist Formula. So Industry AF. It's about anything. I started in LA. My buddy Joe Girard just called me up one day, and I was always like, man, I want to do a podcast, but like, you know, in LA, they're like $500 an episode. You're like, that's crazy. You know what I mean? And so there's a place in LA called Santa Clarita, and it's way above everything. It's like rich people live there, but it's an hour away. And so they wanted, the joke on the website was, we're just outside LA. And they were like giving me a screaming deal of like $50, $100 an episode.
Dang.
And so I was like, let's go do it. It was a cool studio. My buddy James Froley, who's also my bass player, but he's in a band called Big Yen. It's like a ska punk reggae band. He lives in San Diego now. Excuse me. But we met each other in Charleston. He was my co-host, and we were just interviewing like clients of mine and musicians. And then I stopped doing it for a minute because I don't ever want to do like the Zoom thing. I always want to do it like this. And so I moved here, and ads definitely listen. I literally was like, man, I wish I could find a podcast studio. His ad popped up. And so we came here and started doing it. And now it's been a lot of fun because it's like, it's right down the street. We had Peter Keys, Leonard Skinner on here. Paris Fazzoni, she's like the head cinematographer for Brandy Carlisle and Godsmack. What else do we have here? Man, I can't remember. But we're going to have, you know, I got some cool, I don't want to mention who it is, but it's just cool because I think once people kind of see you have a podcast, they think it's like a bigger deal. It's weird, you know, but it's all about content. So yeah, so it's just like about music. I mean, I want to interview I've had some bourbon whiskey people on it. That's what I had. And I want to do some more of that. But you know, I guess people watch it because they all get like 10,000 views on YouTube. But I think people just really watch the clips, you know? So,
All the shorts and
yeah.
Do you post on TikTok?
Heck no. No. I tried and I was like, I feel weird. So
Just shorts.
yeah.
Just YouTube shorts and like Instagram.
Instagram and Facebook. I get paid from it. Meta pays me probably a couple $100 a month. So that's that. I think that's why people get into it. And then YouTube, I can monetize it, but I haven't done it yet. So I kind of want to wait till it gets a little bigger.
How do you get to that point to where Meta pays you?
They just reach out to you.
Oh, okay.
But they
You have to have like a certain amount of followers and
a certain amount of views. I get paid on all my accounts. It's weird. Even my personal one, but I don't really post too much on my personal. It's like it's my band page and the bourbon. But they'll just reach out to you. I've been a Meta partner for like years. So which also we have like a portal where you can verify people.
Yeah.
It's a whole business thing. So
how did you know you wanted to do music and podcasting and all that?
I've always Blink-182, 8th grade. I saw them on TV on a field trip. I was like, holy shit, that's cool. So I always thought a guitar player was like, you know, how can I get that job? And then you can't get it. You have to just do it.
You have to work for it.
And so I started touring. I was like 16. The first show I ever had was at a place called High School Hideout. It was a all-teens rock club. It was the weirdest thing. They were selling like energy drinks, and it didn't last long. I think there was a shooting outside of it once. It was in Walterboro, South Carolina. But then my dad was really supportive, and so he used to drive me to all my shows. And then, you know, then I remember, what was it? Craigslist. I remember I was on Craigslist when I was like 17, and someone's like, "We're looking for a band in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina." Remember the Tiger King? Did you ever watch that?
I think so, yes.
You know what I'm talking about? Like the weird guy? And
yeah,
so
I know.
they show the part with the guy that had like tigers on people. That was Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach is a crazy place. And so
I've never been there, but I've heard a lot of
it's not
good
great.
things. Bad things.
It's a lot of like putt and strip clubs. It's gross.
Putt and strip clubs.
But
I've heard it's kind of overpopulated and gross.
it's super gross. But I was like, Dad, I got a gig in Myrtle Beach, and it was at this place called Magic Castle, and it was like where kids had wands and shit. It was so weird. But I got paid at Myrtle Beach, but I got paid like $2,000, and I was like 17, and I had a band. Yeah, so we, of course, my parents took
$2,000 at 17.
Yeah. I know. I thought I was the richest kid ever. But of course, my parents like, hey, they managed it, and we got a hotel room with it, and da 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 da. But I don't know. I just always wanted to play music. It's not like I wanted to like be cool with it. I just always wanted to play guitar. That was my biggest thing. So, I had lessons for years. I was a jazz guitar major. So. What about you? You just wanted to be Taylor Swift, or
be Taylor Swift? No, I was actually inspired by. Do y'all remember Hannah Montana?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I was actually inspired by Hannah Montana, Miley Cyrus, and then my grandma, because she was really big into music, and she sang in church, and I think she did a little bit of recording. I don't think anything's ever been released, but
gotcha.
So yeah, that just kind of inspired me, and then I just kept like working at songwriting and like listening to like my favorite artists. They inspired me, and just having a dream that you want to keep chasing. That's just what really motivated me to move down here and keep going and just try.
Were you visiting Nashville a lot before you moved here?
So my brother moved down here like.
Oh, I didn't know that.
2 years before me for a job, and we came down definitely for Thanksgiving, and then I think like 1 or 2 times before that. And I met a lot of people through Instagram when I went through my networking phase.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that's how you and I got connected.
Yeah, that's how we met. I should really start doing that again. But
I think it's good, like you say, you're taking a break from music. It's good to take a break from it.
It is, and just figure out like things
bit.
out, and figure out where you want to be and who you want to be as an artist and what you want to write and everything. But during that time when I was networking, I got to go on this songwriting retreat in Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
That's cool.
So that was really cool to meet everyone and experience songwriting in rooms when I never really experienced that, because I lived in Nebraska and no one really knows where Nebraska is or what it is.
Was there a music scene back at home?
There's like a little bit, not as big as here, obviously. We have like a few venues and a few like dream venues that I really want to play someday. When I get there.
Sure.
But definitely I wish there was more, for sure.
Cool. Well, I think you just got to start just kind of doing it again. I mean, there's cool venues like all over the place where it's not like, well, I mean, I think let me take that back. I think what would probably be best for you maybe, because it would feel good, is to get on one of those nights where it's just like there's a built-in crowd instead of like.
How do you get people to like want to reach out to you and like book you in their writers' rounds?
You have to do it all on your own. No one's like ever reaching out to me. I just did a
like
show.
You just go to writers' rounds and ask to play? Or?
Oh, like that?
That's what I meant, yeah.
I mean, no, just email them. They always have like a booking email. Or just DM them on Instagram. What's that one? I forget his name. He's a cool dude. There's one called Rebel Rouser.
Rebel Rounds?
Yeah.
I don't want to say this on camera, but
that's fine.
He's not very good at communicating.
Yeah, he wanted me to do it, and I was like, "Let's do it," and then it never happened. But
it's like, okay, whatever.
But what's the other one? It's on Demumbrian, Live Oak.
Oh, Live Oak. I've been wanting to play there. I'm just saying,
it's like a built-in crowd, So
yeah, you really gotta put yourself out there.
Listening room, man. They kind of book everybody there. I'm trying to play the Bluebird. I played it once.
The Bluebird.
Yeah.
I did an open mic there.
That's cool.
It was really cool. It was
trying
a
to
packed house. I was like, this is new.
Nice. I'm trying to get back in like maybe in May, actually get into the whole, because it's been a long time. But I'm playing the Vinyl Room. You ever been there?
I have not.
It's a cool spot. It's like 2 floors. Playing there with my friend Joey Myron. He's a He's an attractive tall dude. He's some kind of Eastern European, huge hair. He's a cool guy. He's got some great music. And then I don't know who's gonna open up, but that's like May 17th. But I reached out. Like no one like asked me to play. You know what I mean? I just did a date with Victor Wooten. You probably know who the hell that is, but he's a very, very famous bass player. And I booked that. I reached out. I was like, "Can I do it?" And they're like, yeah, sure. So
That's cool.
I don't think people. I mean, there's so much music out there. People aren't really like, unless like you'd sell a lot of tickets, you know. So yeah, go do it. I'll come.
Yeah.
We'll bring
Support.
tons of people.
Yeah. Have them all in the front row.
Yeah, heck yeah, that'd be fun.
So I guess we can start wrapping up. If there was one thing you could say to someone sitting right next to you or in front of you or wherever, what would you say to them chasing a dream?
I don't. Not to sound corny, but like don't give up. You know, it's not easy. Nothing's ever easy though. You know what I
Life
mean?
is not easy,
No, I feel like we live in the hardest, weirdest time. You know, I hate taxes. You know.
especially with the election and
Yeah, it's
the
just
inauguration and
crazy,
all that craziness, all the
craziness.
change.
Yeah, I kind of like change. You know, if it's
think it's
always
scary.
the same, if it's always the same thing, it's kind of weird. I mean, maybe I'm used to. I used to move a lot when I was a kid, so I went to like a lot of different schools.
I
so.
did not. I was stuck in Nebraska my whole life, and then I got here. So
It's the first time you moved. I've lived in LA. I lived in Columbia, South Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina, Nashville, Texas, Seattle. I lived San Diego. I lived all over. So
what was your favorite place you've ever
San
lived?
Diego is the best city in the world,
San Diego?
hands down. I'm not gonna say that story. Never mind that. Not on the podcast. But there's a lot of
Keep it PG.
yeah. Well, no, it wasn't PG. It's just whatever. I'll tell you after. But San Diego's the best. I always bring up the story because it's just funny. But San Diego's the coolest. I just love it. My family's from there. It's just like you just step outside and the weather feels incredible. There's obviously homeless people everywhere, but I don't think it's that bad down there. It's terrible in LA. But I actually liked LA. You ever been to Los Angeles? I actually missed the heck out of it. You ever been to LA or California?
No,
You been to California?
I really want to go. No, never been to California.
California's
Never
the best.
been on the West Coast, honestly. Anywhere
There's a great place to play. It's called the Hotel Cafe. They have the main room
in California.
in LA. They have the main room, which is like 300 cap, which I've been lucky enough to play there a lot. But I started in the side room like in 2011, and they have like new faces night on Mondays. They'll book anybody, and you just literally DM it, and it's like a 90 cap room. It's always sold out. So if you're ever in LA and you're trying to get a show, do Hotel Cafe. So
Gotcha.
it's like
I'll have to
it's
look
kind of
into
like
that.
the only songwriter room, which
What
is a
would
bummer.
you say is the biggest difference from LA and Nashville? LA to Nashville.
The weather, the people are exactly the same because they're from LA, moved here. Dating is terrible in both towns.
Yep.
Can I tell you a quick story?
Go for it.
Make you laugh. So you know that app Raya? You ever heard of that?
Raya?
Raya. It's like a dating app. You have to be like invited to it, and it's like celebrities on it.
Oh yes.
So
yep.
and then when I got on it too, oh my god, I was getting DMs.
You were
from,
invited for it.
Yeah, I was on it for a while and I deleted it because it was gross people. And I remember people were because you have to then you can invite people on it. I was getting like ex girlfriends like, can you get me on that? And I was like, hell no, screw you.
Can you get me on that?
but-
I want to meet Glenn Powell.
Yeah. Well, dude, I matched with the girl from Schitt's Creek, the brunette. And then I saw like a whole bunch, but you can't screenshot it. You'll get kicked off immediately. But I was like, oh my God. You saw
damn.
John Mayer on there. Like, because it's also a networking thing too. It's like $500 a year. It was so stupid.
You have to
but-
pay for it.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's not free. But here's the funny story. I'll make it quick. So I matched with this girl on there and her parents, and I don't care if she hears it, she was nuts. Her parents owned the James Bond franchise. And so she's loaded. And I told one of my best buds, Sean, I was like, so we're going to go on a date. And so I was going to show off. And we went to this bar. It's called 7 Grand. That's one of my favorite whiskey bars. There's like 3,000 whiskeys, all including Boone's Bourbon. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to bring her there, kind of show off a little bit. But James Bond franchise, right? So she's sending me all these voice notes trying to be all sexy. And it was like English accent, right? And I was like, oh, wow, this is crazy. But I called it. I was like, I bet she doesn't have a driver's license because she probably got in trouble because she's probably loaded and probably was drinking and driving. And I bet she's going to show with a bag of clothes because I bet she just kind of Ubers all day and just bops around. She'll be in Santa Monica near the beach and then she'll be in the valley. Dude, I kid you not. She showed up with an IKEA bag. And I was like, hey, what's in the bag? And I was like, is it notebooks and clothes? That's what she goes, oh, I just hang around all day. And I was like, oh my God. But we're hanging out, drinking. Fast forward, we get pretty drunk. all of a sudden, me and the bartender are like listening to her. Her English accent just goes away, and I was like, hey, where'd your accent go? And she's like, oh my God.
It comes and goes.
I was like, you are crazy. So anyway, that was dating in LA. And then when I came here, you know, I mean, I lived there too. Everyone was here. So the dating's definitely the same. I know I went off track with that story, but you know, Nashville's, you know, there's a lot more nicer people here, I think.
How'd you meet your current girlfriend?
In LA.
Oh, gotcha.
Yep.
She moved back here too?
She is.
Or she's still there?
She's thinking about it, so
Okay,
we'll see.
that's
we'll
cool.
see. Long distance is not easy, but
yeah, I don't think I could ever.
but she's cool. She's from East LA, so
Okay.
she's not like a crazy person. She's not like Hollywood. But yeah, she's super cool. She loves live music, all that fun stuff. But
Does she do music?
No, no. She's actually never even seen me play, which is kind of funny. She was supposed to come to that Victor Wooten show, and then the hurricane happened, and it moved the whole show. But yeah, I don't know, man. LA's cool. I love it. I know we're kind of just bopping around here.
Yeah, it's on my bucket list to go for sure. But yeah, I didn't really know where this podcast was gonna go. I was like, I love it.
Well, that's the
try
fun of
something
it.
new, freestyle it.
That's the fun of it, and then you'll
But
get
yeah.
better at it. And, you know, we'll do it again.
We'll
do it again.
It's all up from here. It's a learning game. I'm still learning. I'm excited. I hope, just hope it goes somewhere and like reaches people that it's supposed to reach. And
I think you'd be surprised because everybody wants to be on a podcast. If you start asking like someone you really look up to, they'll probably say yeah.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. But
Cool.
yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
Woo.
I'm excited for what's next, and I'm excited for
do you have like a closing thing? Do you have like a final question? Or you know what my buddy James says all the time, and I like it. He goes, and it's from another podcast, and he likes it. If you had a chance to put up a billboard, what would you put up there?
Oh, that's a good question.
It's always his closing.
Probably to never stop chasing your dreams, no matter like what you face in life. That would be a lot on the billboard, but
I would put up my crazy ex-girlfriend's phone number.
oh, dang. All right, that's a good one.
No, I'm just making a joke. I wouldn't do that.
I would say God's rejection is only leading you to his redirection for your life.
That's a good quote. Did you make that up?
I did, yeah.
That's great. Heck yeah, dude. Put on a coffee mug.
Yeah, I should. Or put it on the podcast cover photo or something.
Heck yeah.
We'll see.
Well, congrats. Thanks so much for having
Yes,
me.
thank you for coming on the podcast. And thank you guys so much for watching the fourth episode of Faithfully Free, Truthfully Me. And I will see you all back here in 2 weeks because it's bi-weekly.
Woo.
Love y'all.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Faithfully Free, Truthfully Me. I hope this week really encouraged you to live for yourself and to stay truthfully you, even on those hard days. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on social media to listen to upcoming episodes that you don't want to miss. We'll see you next week.